Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ox Talks. Appreciate you tuning in today. Thanks for liking the videos, hitting that thumbs up, sharing these videos with people as far and wide as you possibly can. And please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let me jump into two important topics I want to discuss briefly on this show. The first one has to do with U.S. credit card debt in this country. And for the second time in the past 3 months, it has substantially declined, right? So at face value, one might say, well, that's great. People are not taking on as much debt. They're not swiping those credit cards as much. Maybe everyone is all of a sudden getting smarter and realizing that paying the banks 20 or 30% interest on that debt is a lose situation for them. That is, from my perspective, not what's going on. The reality is that I believe this signals, not an economist, not an expert, just giving you my input on this. I believe this signals the fact that consumers have simply run out of available credit to tap into. Their credit cards or credit lines, their home equity lines of credit, these things are starting to dry up. The spending spree at some point has to come to an end. The doom spending at some point has to come to an end. Let me share the story out of MarketWatch. It says U.S. credit card debt declines for second time in the past 3 months, signaling plateau in borrowing. Again, comment below. You think that's a plateau in borrowing because people are making a personal financial decision to stop taking on debt in this country and stop borrowing money? As the largest debtor nation in the history of the world and its consumers, you think that all of a sudden they have awoken and decided to change their spending and borrowing habits? I don't think so. It says consumer credit rose $8.9 billion in August after surging a revised $26.6 billion in July, the Federal Reserve said Monday. So listen to that. $8.9 billion in August. In July, it was $26.6 billion. The August gain translates into credit growth at a 2.1% annual rate. That's down from 6.3% rise in the prior month. That is a big drop. That's what it's down about 2/3. Economists had been expecting a $13.2 billion increase in consumer credit in August, according to a Wall Street Journal survey. And what they got was $8.9 billion. It says revolving credit like credit cards fell at a 1.2% rate in August. It is the second small decline in the past, I meant to say smallest decline in the past 3 months. Non-revolving credit, comprised mostly of auto and student loans, grew by 3.3% in August after a 5.2% rise in July. This category of credit is typically much less volatile. Consumer spending has been driving the U.S. and the global economies this year, according to the economists. It has been fueled in part by a strong job market. Okay, I'm going to let you guys comment on that one. Of course, they cite to the fact that the U.S. added 254,000 jobs in September, according to government estimates last week. Go back and look at my show I did from Friday. The overwhelming majority of those jobs were government jobs. No surprise, right? The economists expect non-revolving credit to further rebound later this year as the Fed's interest rate cuts lower borrowing costs. Think about that rationale. Do you believe that all of a sudden the consumer is going to have more available credit because the Fed's going to be supposedly cutting rates and lowering borrowing costs? And do you really think if the Fed continues on this rate cutting cycle, that's going to translate into an immediate or even medium term decline in the interest rates these banks are charging on credit cards? Plus, do you really think if consumers aren't using their cards now that lowering of the rates, they're all of a sudden going to have more available credit to them? I think that's probably not going to happen. It says the Fed's data does not include mortgage loans, which is the largest category of household debt. A slight decline, it says, in borrowing is another sign that consumer borrowing may have plateaued for the foreseeable future, according to this author. says the stabilization could be a healthy thing considering the rising credit delinquencies lately. It does not come at the expense of a worry that consumers have stopped spending, however, okay? And we covered that in many videos before as well about how we have a rising delinquency rate in this country for credit cards, auto delinquencies, rent, mortgages, all that stuff. We understand it. Let me cover the second article briefly, which talks about, which I just read this morning, relative to cash being accepted. Your dollar bills, your $1 bills, your fives, your tens, your 50s, your hundreds. This is very interesting. It says, goodbye dollar. This is out of the Vibus news. Goodbye dollar. These bills will be rejected in stores across the country starting in October. This is not, from what I've seen, this is not very highly publicized. I think it's potentially a big deal. And again, the beginning of the end probably for justification in the war on cash, okay? So it says, in the news update, the U.S. government has made an important announcement regarding the status of certain banknotes. Some bills will no longer be valid from this year onward. The Federal Reserve, the Fed, has confirmed that the 5, the 20, the 50, and the $100 bills will continue to be in circulation. And I'm going to add in editorial comment for now. However, new designs are set to be introduced in the coming months, which may bring about some changes. Okay, why? Why would there be changes? Here we go. Which dollar bills will be rejected? Starting in October 2024, this month, many retailers, including popular chains such as Walmart, Target, and Dollar Tree, will stop accepting damaged bills. And let's see how they define what a damaged bill is. This banknotes referred to as mutilated by banks which have tears or missing corners. So you better check your bills, guys. If they have tears or missing corners, they will no longer be accepted at these establishments, and from what I'm reading, by many of the banks. Also, bills that appear faded or distorted, often due to being in wet clothing, it says will also be rejected. So evidently you're going to have a store clerk or a store manager now scrutinizing your ones, your fives, your tens, your 50s, your 20s, your hundreds. And if they look a little faded, guess what? You're not going to be able to pay with those bills. So that seems to me to be a hugely subjective standard. Obviously, if there's a corner torn off, that's a little more objective. But pay attention to this, guys. There has to be a bigger plan in motion, which we all know what's going on. So these types of notes will be rejected not only in stores, but also by banks and ATMs. It will not be the end of the dollar, but why will these bills be rejected? And it says that there's an initiative behind the change. They justify it by saying it aims to enhance the security of the monetary system. Leave your comments below. They're going to reject your faded bills to enhance the security of the monetary system. I'll leave it there today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.